I think it's also why I like have kind of started like looking the way that I look, because I'm always like, oh, if people don't like me, I'm gonna make myself unlikable already, so I'm safe. It's all just a tactic to subconsciously. It's probably a tactic to like feel like I'm in control to an extent of like what people think about me. I don't know.
Welcome back to Secondhand Therapy. We want to remind you that we are not therapists, experts, smart, anything like that.
This is not professional advice. This is not a substitute for therapy. We are not experts. That's the gist.
Yeah. We do have a Patreon, though.
We have a Patreon, and you know what? I want to thank some of our official Bear Cubs.
Oh, yeah. That's so okay.
Brittany H., Jess M., Steph N., Jasmine S., Allison L., David M., Ashley H. Someone just registered under the letter N.
Shout out to N.
Kristen C. You guys, thanks for being Bear Cubs.
Yes, thank you.
You're the reason we haven't killed ourselves.
No, language. What are you doing?
It's true. You want to lie to Bear Cubs? I'm not going to lie to them.
We also have a hotline. Is it a hotline? What is it?
We have a phone number.
We do.
You can call us and leave a voicemail. You can text us and we'll text you back. 818-850-2448.
Wow.
Again, 818-850-2448.
Wow.
Call us, text us.
Yeah. You can do that. We reach out. We'll be playing them on the pod or responding to them on Patreon, along with a lot of bonus content, and you can get access to episodes early on Patreon and all that fun stuff. Check us out on there. And
Hey.
Yeah.
I know you're saying, and also.
Yeah.
We have a guest.
That's what I was getting to.
I know.
You know what?
I wanted to talk about the guest.
We have a guest. You've seen her recently at the Netflix is a Joke Festival. She opens regularly on the road for Tim Dillon. She's hilarious. She's funny. She's not currently in therapy.
Not currently in therapy, but
has been.
Has some problems.
Has some problems.
She's struggling like the rest of us.
Her name is Gabby Lamb. She's wonderful.
All right, here's the episode. We're going to talk with Gabby. Thanks for being here.
I was seeing a psychiatrist in Pasadena, and she was like, you should see a therapist. And I was like, okay, why not? That's when I had really good insurance. I was on my mom's insurance. My mom's a teacher, and teachers underpaid, but great insurance.
Yeah.
Worth it. So I was on hers. I go to this psychiatrist. She's like, you should go to therapy. And I was like, okay. And I was with the same therapist until from like 19 to 31, 32. Which is cool, but I also was like, maybe should I try other therapists and I should see what else is out there?
We were just talking about that because my therapist brought it up about how she's like, soon you're going to outgrow me.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Lou about this, and he was like, yeah, this is something that it's going to happen. And I didn't even cross. I was like, oh, she's my ride or die.
He's like, she's my therapist forever. Yeah. But he's a big comfort zone guy.
So
it's hard, but
and that's something to work on in therapy.
Exactly.
That's something to work on. I know. Yeah, I got very comfortable with mine, and it's nice having somebody that's known you since you were 19.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is I started getting okay, I do you have other things to offer me?
Yeah. Does it ever feel stale?
It did. Yeah. I remember we got to a point where she was like, maybe it's we ran out of things to talk about. And she was like, do you think that there's a chance that maybe you ate your twin in the womb? And I was like, what? Is that something?
It's like a sweeps week thing. She's throwing Hail Mary.
She did. She was like, oh, I don't know. It's your codependency issues. Maybe it's a twin thing. I was like, is that allowed?
Is that allowed?
Yeah. It was like she just didn't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Just started throwing things at the wall to see what would stick.
Just wet spaghetti therapy.
Yeah, really. So that's when I was like, maybe I need a new therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's great. I mean, she was great. I was with her for so many years, but I'm like, and then I started getting like codependent with her because I was like, well, I don't want to leave her. Like maybe I can work it out with her and things. It'll be better, you know.
Yeah. Codependent with your therapist.
Yeah.
Hey,
So real.
Weird.
it's been less than a year. Well, it's been a year.
Yeah.
So
You latch on quick. We know that.
Nice.
And we know that.
I do. Yeah.
So- When you say you need therapy,
Mm-hmm.
like now, why?
I have really low self-esteem and I have really like looping thoughts all of the time. I have a lot of fear. I live in a lot of fear and it takes a fucking village for me to get out of my head. And I think it is really helpful to have a trained professional who can like give you tools, you know, to help you navigate yourself out of yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's like what meditation practices are for. And there are a lot of things that you can do without therapy, but it's nice to have somebody who can kind of like give you the tools of like, this is why you're thinking this way. This is how to like stop those thoughts and get onto the other side of it. And so when I'm left to my own devices, I'm just kind of spinning out, thinking about the same three things over and over and over again.
So you find it hard to implement the tools your therapist gives you. You kind of need the check-ins.
Yeah, the check-ins are very beneficial because I also I have such a bad memory. And I forget things really quickly. So, you know, like it'll stick for a second. But if I'm not, it's almost like the gym, you know, it's like you can go for a couple of times, but you don't really see any growth until you're consistently
Yeah.
putting work in. And I feel like that's how it
Yeah.
is with like therapy and mental health. You
Yeah.
know, the more you like show up and you work through things. I also think that with therapy, you can hit a wall, you know, and I think people like need to take breaks from it. And because I think that like diving too much into yourself all of the time gets a little like exhausting,
Yeah.
you know, like how much of yourself, I don't know. And then I also get a little like caught up with when do we stop like trying to always unpack like the childhood stuff and just start working through like what we have now. And I understand that like what we have now is probably a result of like, you know,
Right. It all
growing
leads
up.
back to, yeah.
Yeah, but like eventually it's like, okay, we get it. We get where all of the trauma stems from. But like now, how do I like stay present in my life and work through shit?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there are like a million different forms of really beneficial therapy that I've never explored that I would like to.
Yeah. Staying present is hard.
It's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the number one way. That's like the road to peace, you know? It's just staying present. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, that's all that it is. It's just like we like cause ourselves the most fucking pain when we're like thinking about like what happened or what's gonna happen. And then if it's like the thing of, I think like the answer to most of our problems is like right here, right now, nothing's really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we're just like three people sitting in a room doing a podcast in the middle of the day on a Monday. Like it's all right, you know,
Yeah, it's
things
pretty
are all
dope.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right. But like, you know, in your head, you're always spinning. You're like, well, but what about this thing that happened yesterday? This thing I have to do tomorrow, or da da da, or what? You know, blah blah blah. So we just like rob ourselves of joy by not being present. But being present's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
You know, right now talking to you guys, I still have like 1,000 thoughts of like, okay, well, like I had a bad set over the weekend, and so like this weekend I have to, and what if I don't get this thing that, you know?
Yeah. Do you have you been diagnosed with anxiety or ADHD or anything like
Yeah, hell yeah,
that? Yeah.
big time,
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah,
I love that.
big time. I big time ADHD, and I think the ADHD is what leans into the anxiety, and then that causes depression. It's like a little,
Yeah.
it's like a trickle down. What about you guys?
Yeah, I have ADHD, and I just got on meds.
What are you on?
Concerta?
How do you like it?
I am loving it. It
Loving
is-
Concerta.
It's been great.
It's a
Are you
stimulant.
on?
I take Vyvanse.
Okay, I hear great things about Vyvanse.
I like Vyvanse. I do
Yeah.
like it. Mm-hmm.
Is it also a stimulant?
It is. It is. It's the same. It's like, you know, they're all the same family as like Adderall, but Adderall's just a little. It's a little too methy for me.
Yeah, that's what I told the psychiatrist. I was like, I don't want Adderall. It feels just like legal coke.
It because it is.
And I just hear terrible things about it. So
Yeah.
but I did want something that would give me a little bit of energy and a little bit of something, so a stimulant.
Yeah, and I've taken non-stimulants before, and they don't work.
Really?
Yeah, they don't work for me. So stimulants are like the only things that like help me.
How long have you been on it?
Oh my God, I got on Adderall when I was like 16, and I was on it until like 25, and then we switched to Vyvanse probably like at 25.
Oh wow, so it's been a while.
Yeah. So I've been on Vyvanse since I was like 25.
Are you noticing a like a fall off in the way it affects you or anything like that, or has
What do you
it-
mean?
Because I'm brand new to it, so I'm like, what, 2 weeks in or something?
Oh, really? Welcome.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It is fucking great.
But some of the people have been saying that like you're gonna get used to it and
Yeah.
it's gonna fall off. Some of the effects aren't gonna be as strong and this and that. So
It's
are
true.
are you noticing any of that, or have you noticed that?
Yeah, like I definitely have a tolerance to it now. And I'm on the lowest dose,
Yeah.
but you definitely do find yourself getting like used to it.
Yeah.
It's like the same way with like antidepressants and shit. Like I've been on Lexapro forever, and it just kind of feels like, like I'm like, do I need to get on more?
Yeah.
Because I'm still fucking depressed. But then I realize like, well, it's not, meds aren't like, it's the end all be all. We have to do a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think you hit a point where you like are so used to, it's like anything too. It's like with drinking or smoking weed, like you get used to a certain amount. So then you need to like do more to feel more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked thing about the pharmaceutical industry is they get you in there. They get you fucking in there.
Yeah. Man, we live in a gross world.
Isn't it crazy?
You know?
It's great. Well, especially in the United States, because it's just like fucking capitalism, like we have to like stay awake and not be depressed. So it's like they're just so we can work and work and work and make money and things are getting more expensive. But then it's like the more expensive things get, the more depressed and anxious we get. So then you got to up the meds and and it's just like an endless fucking pit.
Yeah.
America.
I know.
Fucking endless pit.
An endless fucking pit. Jesus fuck. I know.
I hate it. I'm about to get so existential right now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, go somewhere else.
No, go for it.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I don't know, but I like the book collection right there. I see the Daily Stoic, Happy Habits of a Happy Brain. Those are all my
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like our whole existence is just based on barely surviving.
It is. It's based on barely surviving. You
Yeah.
just have to find peace where you can,
Yeah.
which then comes back to presence.
Yeah.
But it's hard to stay present when you're anxious about money and life and that.
Yeah, you always just see the clips of like billionaires or like superstars being like, you just gotta like believe in it. You just
Yeah.
gotta, like,
Oh, yeah.
it'll happen. And you're like, yeah, you have $1 billion.
Yeah.
You're saying this you're doing this fucking TikTok from your yacht right now. Like,
Yeah.
you just gotta believe in yourself. You're like, oh, cool, man.
It's crazy. Like I was listening to a podcast this morning actually that was talking about this subject, and they were saying, they were talking about like the money paradox and how money is like having money. It does, everybody says like money doesn't buy you happiness, but the psychologist on there was like, well, it does. Like it takes away a lot of anxiety when you can like do what you want. You're not like living in a constant state of like lack or fear. But then there's the thing of like, what do you do with your time when you have the money? Are you like spending time with people that you love? Are you taking care of the people around you? Or are you just like, like selfish and trying to like
Just
flex
chilling,
having money? Yeah. So they were like, it's important what you also do with the time when you have money.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you do hear like also like these super wealthy people being like, I'm fucking still miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit. Because then you realize it's all like a soul thing. Like
Yeah, you're still stuck with yourself.
you're always stuck with yourself. Yeah. I think about that too. I'm like, if I got a lot of money, would I be happier? And I'm like, no, because I'm like still an unhappy person.
Yeah.
The money would make it nice. I could get things that I like. I could have like my own apartment and like nice things. But at the end of the day, it's like, is that really what's going to make me happier? To an extent.
Yeah.
Totally to an extent.
Some peace of mind.
Yeah. Like knowing that I have like my bills paid and that I have like more space in my room to put things.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Not living in like a bunch of clutter.
Yeah.
That gives me anxiety. But
I know I have this fantasy that like if I was super rich, I would like just do like a different philanthropy every day.
right. Yeah,
Like,
that's interesting.
Monday, like go hang out with old folks, and like
Yeah.
Tuesday, go to an animal shelter.
But those are like fulfilling things,
And
right?
then I'm like, would I?
Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah. Or would I wake up and be like, I gotta go to the gym and then
Yeah.
go get $100 lunch and then
Right. And just fuck off.
Yeah.
I know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're just still left with yourself. Like I would still be sad because I'm just kind of sad.
Yeah. What are you sad about? Are you sad about your story? Are you sad about the state of the world?
I think a lot. I think all of it. I think that like I live in a constant state of like existential dread, which means that I'm thinking too much about myself. So I think a lot about myself, which makes me sad. You know, like when you're only thinking about like how to get your needs met, it puts you in like a lack state of mind. And I think a lot about myself. And I think that makes me unhappy. But I also then I think a lot about like, yeah, like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
What's going on? You know, like we're sitting here and then there's like a million wars happening.
Yeah.
And you walk outside and there's like homeless people shitting on themselves and like shooting up. And you're like, what's the future of all of this?
Yeah.
And then I think like if I have kids, like what am I bringing them into? And you know, you just start like, and that, yeah.
Yeah, my girl and I, we try to go at least once a month, sometimes more, but we do we do a water drop for homeless people on Skid Row.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, they're such nice people. Like they will actively be like smoking crack and then be telling you like, thank you guys for doing this. Like, make sure you're careful out here. And I'm just like,
it's crazy.
what do you do? Like, there's no one, like I'm the help.
Yeah.
To give you a gallon of water?
Isn't that crazy? Like, because I was doing it, I do this Thursday mornings. I haven't done it in a couple months, but I was doing it pretty consistently for a while. There's this organization called Feed the Streets, and it's like Thursday mornings at like 6 a.m. You go down to Skid Row and you give them clothes and donuts and fruit, water, and they like line up. And it was a really humbling, gratifying experience. But at the same time, and I remember this one moment, I was down there like handing out these donuts, and then a bus drives by with an ad for like the next season of the Kardashians, and I'm like, this is so wild. Like why?
Yeah.
And then like why? It's like the poor people, you know, like me, like having to show up to like feed the extremely poor people. You know, like why are we not? How are they not being more taken care of? But I don't know. That's a battle I can't even.
I think it's also more glaring in a city like Los Angeles,
Yeah.
where every billboard is just success. You know what I mean? It's just TV show after TV show. This isn't a city where, I try to explain this to people too that don't live here. Like our billboards aren't like 1-800-plumber. Like it's not like in the Midwest where like these are businesses or whatever.
Yeah.
Every billboard is this person just dropped an album. This TV show is out. This movie is people have YouTube fucking billboards up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
as you're like watching somebody foaming at the mouth while they're ODing on fentanyl under a billboard that costs like $100,000 to put up, and you're like, what the fuck?
Some TikTokers filming himself as some guy is literally ODing on the sidewalk, and you're like, oh, this is what LA is,
right? And I get that's why you'd want to move to the middle of America and like live around, nature and not be exposed to any of this because it's dark. We're like faced with a lot of like moral questions. I think living in these big cities every day,
Yeah.
we're up against a lot. We have a lot to think about. When you're like out in the middle of fucking middle America with like your little family, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Which honestly, peace of mind. You're like, I can't. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to see every day. You walk out of your apartment, and you have to like step over dog shit or like human shit. And the other day, I was walking around my neighborhood, and there was like a tent with just 1,000 fucking syringes around like the ground outside, and there's like people walking their dogs, and you're like, wow, this is so fucking crazy. You need therapy to deal with shit like that. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm trying to reframe like the state of the world and like, you know, like there's like actively genocide happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I love all the protests. I love like the things, but I don't think it's going to do anything.
No. Oh, absolutely not.
Because the financial interest, like,
Yeah.
you know, we have our president being like, just being like, yeah, this is what we do.
It does nothing.
Yeah.
It's great that, like, you know, kids are activists and people, like, know that they want to, like, make a statement and, you know, that people get involved to a degree, but it does nothing. It's almost, like, kind of the same thing as voting. Like, really, does any of our votes, like, actually count, or is it just all funded by Nesquik, you know?
Yeah, so I'm trying to reframe and, like, okay, the big disgusting things that I see on my phone or whatever, like, I'm never going to be able to do anything about that.
Right.
But like I can go give water to 100
exactly
or 200
right.
people and like I can look these people in the face and know that I made a difference.
Right.
And that's how I'm trying to reframe.
I so agree with that. And that's the other thing. That's like the haunted thing too about social media and like the use of it for these things. You know, like I see people constantly like posting like endlessly about, you know, Gaza and Palestine and all, and it's just, I'm like, what do you guys, I get where your head's at, but what are we actually doing here? Yeah. Are we actually like, I don't know. I don't
know either.
I know. Yeah. And so I'm like really careful with, I don't post about like my political beliefs anymore. Cause I'm like, I don't know how to even speak about, like, you don't need, like my followers don't need to know my opinion, my political take, you know, on these things. Like, first of all, I don't fucking know shit. And then secondly, if I did, it's like, what does me being angry about what's happening do? We all know what's going on. It's like not, I don't know. And that could be, people could get upset at that and be like, well, it's important to have a voice. But it's like, is it?
It's like, do I have a voice?
Do I even have a voice? Like, I morally, like, know what I believe. But, like, does me, like, blasting about it online really do anything? Except for then, like, just get people more divided and angry and and then they have an opinion about the way that you're talking about things, and it's like, yeah, or maybe you could just go down to Skid Row and give people water.
When you look at like what's changed over the years and why it feels like we are more divided and everything is so loud right now, it's because everybody has a voice right now. And we're just all talking at once.
And we shouldn't. Not everybody should have a voice.
Right. Everybody that has a phone now has a quote unquote TV studio in their hand.
It's fucking horrendous.
Yeah. And so everybody's just yelling in their phone, and we're swiping through it, listening to everybody talk at you.
Getting riled up. Yeah. Like, you know, every time I get on my phone, I can feel like my adrenaline spike.
Yeah. I had to stop going through TikTok in the morning. Yeah. I stopped listening to the news in the morning. Hard. Yeah, because all you need is one video to just set you off for the day. And you go, okay, well, now I'm angry about this, or like, I can't believe that's happening, or whatever. I've tried to really tune those things out, which also is probably not the answer.
I don't know if it's not the answer though, because then it's like, I find myself like getting more like angrier at society and people when I get involved in this stuff, because like I'll see, you know, I'll see a post on like CNN, and then I go through the comments to see what people are saying, and people are just like fighting in the comments. Yeah, and it's just like, what are we doing?
People fight in our comments, which is hilarious because we're all about like trying to be better and like what we're learning in therapy and all this stuff. And you'll have people like going at each other sometimes about the proper way to do this.
It's
or like
crazy.
Terminology and things. And we're like, we're literally just trying to be better.
Yeah. People, it's so wild, and it just like gets me mad. I'm like, yo, like relax, everybody. Like I met fucking Post Malone the other night. I posted a picture of him, but I posted this fucking picture, and some girls started fighting in the comments. Somebody was like, I hope you hooked up with him, and another girl was like, doesn't he have a wife and a child? And then another girl was like, if she's not there, it doesn't matter. And then all of these other girls like swarm in, and they're like, do you know how fucking classless that is of you to say? And now I'm looking at your pictures and I can tell that you're just a fucking hoe. And I'm like, what is happening in my comment section right now of just a picture of this guy?
Right.
What?
How do you deal with that?
Ignore a lot of the time. I ignore it because I'm just like, what
Yeah.
are you gonna fucking?
Yeah, what can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah.
Does it affect you like mentally throughout your day, or do you ever like?
It does when people are mean to me, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
When it's like if I post, stand-up clips or just like stupid videos that I make, and people and like guys are really mean to me, and I get a lot more people being like, "You disgusting!" Like this girl obviously has issues, like not funny, da 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 da, and that affects me because then I think about like when I go on stage, how many men in the audience like subconsciously do believe that about me. Like I think about because it's a lot of men who are just like, or then they'll tell me that I'm not funny, that I'm ugly, that I'm da 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 da, and I get on stage and I think about it, and I'm like, how many of you guys are in the audience that really believe these things? Because you wouldn't say these things to my face.
Yeah.
You would never, but you're fine behind the fucking phone and a profile that's like, a private profile. Like I don't have access to you.
Oh, people are so brave on the internet.
They're so brave. But
So brave.
like, how many of those guys would actually be in an audience at one of my shows and like say that to me in real life? So it haunts me, and they wouldn't, but it haunts me that is what people feel okay with saying.
Yeah.
They really think it's okay, and I can't imagine ever doing that to somebody, like commenting on their content and being like, "Not funny, boo! Bet you fucking have mommy, daddy issues, dumb bitch!" Like,
Yeah.
it's haunting that people think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you like sometimes I'll respond and I'll be like, "That was a crazy thing to say." And I'll be like, "Oh, comedian can't take a joke, probably not funny then." And it's like,
That's not a joke.
"No, you're
You
just
didn't make a joke. You're attacking me.
yeah." Or they'll be like, "Yeah, you're attacking me," and then they'll be like, "Oh, so you can come online and say these things, but I can't say anything." And it's like, well, yeah, we're not on the same playing field.
Yeah.
You're just a guy that like works at a bank in Iowa. I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
We're not on the same, but they think that they have access to you because they can leave shitty comments.
Right.
So they're like, I can do it.
Yeah, I think you just said is people think they have access to everybody now.
They do. So the playing field is level. It's like a leveled playing field. Like people can go on like Justin Bieber's Instagram and tell him that he's a piece of shit, because they have access to him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They think they're as important.
Yeah. You're not.
You're simply not, because if you were, you would be there.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to have like that kind of success. But people think because they can like leave a blind comment on a celebrity's Instagram that they have that same,
Yeah.
like, look at me, I can say it too. It's like, you can't.
Yeah.
You can physically, but like you actually can't.
Do you have any rules with your DMs or anything? Like, do you check your DMs or are you just like,
I do.
yeah?
I do
Oh,
check them.
why?
I
Why do
don't
you do
respond to them. I don't respond to them, but I do check them because I'm a sadist.
that? Yeah.
So I'm a sadomasochist because I like seeing
Yeah.
what people have to say. They're horrible.
You're the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
You always check your DMs.
I need to know.
You need to know.
I need to know.
It's like a stand-up thing, huh? You got to
Yeah.
know if they're laughing.
Yeah.
Not even laughing, but just opinion at all. Like I need, yeah, I need to gauge it.
But and then it like doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
Like,
It doesn't matter.
I had somebody the other day who like wrote me and was like, after this last video you posted, I will no longer be attending your shows. You're so sexist and da. And I was like, okay.
Did you know who they were?
No.
Exactly.
No.
I didn't know you existed.
Yeah.
Think I give a fuck?
I just saw you. He was like, I just saw you in San Diego and I will no longer be attending your shows. I'm like, okay. It's like when people threaten like, like Target or something, they're like, I will never be coming back to this establishment. You're like, okay.
Okay.
You didn't. Okay, fine.
Yeah. And I used to work at Verizon and people would, I'm going to cancel my service.
And you go, okay.
Cool. Dude,
Oh no.
you think my last name is Verizon? I don't give a fuck, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you spent all the time giving a fuck about that stuff, you would have no peace. And I already have very little peace. So it's like things like that you really have to just not. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Do you think that's what their objective is just to like take your piece or like get in your head?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is to let you know that you offended them and that
Yeah.
they'll no longer be.
They just want to feel heard.
Yeah, they want to feel heard because I'm the one who's like making the content. I'm like, my voice is out there. So then they feel like they're like, I'm going to be heard too. Since you can say whatever you want, I'm going to say what I want to you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I know. And then it's like, can everybody just get fucking therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including me. Like, everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck me. I posted this stupid thing. I don't even know. I always just like post stupid things, whatever. And then like all of these people, I was talking about how like I don't trust people who like love their parents too much. And people got so mad. They got so mad and they're like, you obviously need therapy, or like you need a new therapist if this is what you really believe, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, okay.
Okay.
Is that what your therapists are teaching you, is to like go and like talk shit on?
Yeah. It's just to
Yeah.
disagree
Somebody's
with, just get mad
Instagram.
at somebody you disagree with.
Yeah, but that again, like that's the difference, is that like I'm an entertainer. I like make, it's like you make up, you like embellish things
Right.
for content. And most people don't understand that. They don't get that you can like embellish a state of mind, or like, I don't actually deep down believe that people that like love their families suck. But like, when the whole thing was like, I don't trust like women who like love their dads too much, or like guys that are too close to their moms. And people were just like, that's so wrong.
No, that's actually true.
It is actually true. It's
Yeah.
like, it is like a little bit true. And at the end of the day, I'm
It's
like, I
very
don't actually
true.
give a fuck, but like you think about it and I'm like, I have friends who like sit on their dad's lap still and like kiss them on the face. And I'm like, you?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a picture of healthy right there.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. It's so funny. Like even yesterday was Mother's Day, and like seeing the Mother's Day, and maybe maybe it's because I am bitter, but also I do think this is just how I feel. Like I saw a bunch of girls posting their moms being like, my mom is my best friend. She's a and I'm always just like, ew. My mom is my mom, but like she's fine, but she's not and like cool, I guess, if you have like a healthy relationship with your mom like that, but
Yeah.
it always kind of weirds me out. There is a part of it of like this mother-daughter thing with like daughters that like kiss their mothers and are like, my mom's the most beautiful, tender woman in the world, and she's the mom of my blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just like bitter because my mom is a fucking alcoholic bitch, narcissist bitch.
I mean,
But,
my mom's
like,
none of those things. I love my mom to death, but
Yeah.
she made a lot of fucking mistakes
Yeah.
with me. Like, she fucked me up real bad.
Yeah,
so,
they fuck you real bad.
yeah, I still love her to death.
Of course.
But
And I love my mom to death too, but I'm like, you can miss me with ever being like, my mom is my world.
yeah,
It creeps me out.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really bothers people when you say that, when you're like, you love your parents like that much. Like, I get you love them, but you like
Yeah.
best friend.
They're like your hero still.
Right.
You haven't seen behind the curtain yet, huh?
Right. Your
Yeah.
parents are your heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild to me. But I know like people get really like touchy about that kind of stuff because people are very protective of their families. And I'm like, everybody's family also like kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like we all like people are just people. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
know.
People are people. We're all fucked up. We're all very flawed.
Yeah. When you put your
Yeah.
parents on a pedestal, it was like, unless you're like, dad is fucking Gandhi. I'm like, what do you, unless
Yeah.
your father was Jesus Christ himself, Buddha, I'm like, what do you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your dad's just a guy, your mom.
Yeah, your dad is literally just a man.
He's just a man. Your mom is just like
Yeah.
a woman, maybe
Yeah.
nice, maybe not nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you have no idea what they're like when you're not around.
You have no idea.
You have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
How uncomfortable are you right now?
Do you love your mom so much?
Oh, everybody's dead, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, everybody's dead?
Yeah.
But his mom
Honestly,
was
nice.
his mom was his best friend. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah, we have a very close relationship.
What if you were the guy that's leaving all the
just-
negative
yeah.
comments? You don't know what it's like. Yeah. But I am sorry to hear that.
Axe thrower 44.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
me.
yeah.
No, but we were close and we would talk a lot, but we weren't on the level of like, I get where you're at with these weird people that like, you ever see somebody kiss their dad on the mouth or
it's
something like that?
fucking
You're
weird.
like, what are you doing?
Again, loving your parents is so normal and you should love your parents. And if you
Right.
don't, then there is something fundamentally sad about that.
Yeah.
You know, that means they really did something fucked up. We should love our parents, but I'm like, how?
But yeah, there should be a lot. Yeah.
What's
I
to?
love my mom. I didn't want to date her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the vibe you get sometimes. There's people you see some photos and you're like,
Dude,
that's a
there was
little
this.
too close.
Dude, there was this fucking. I remember watching this like docu-series a couple years ago about mothers who had given their sons up for adoption at birth, and then were later reunited with their sons like as adults, and they talk about how there started being all of this like sexual tension, like,
What?
and the boys were like, I had never fallen in love until I met my mother. Like it was so bizarre. Like this happened like with like a number of boys and their mothers, and they like some of them started developing like sexual relationships because it's this weird thing.
Yeah.
It's this weird
Sexual
thing.
relationships?
Yes. Yeah. There was a whole fucking like series on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Lose fucking mind is
Yeah.
blown right
Yeah.
Well, you would think the mom would be like, let's not.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think, but I don't know. There's some weird.
But it's also a
Was
stranger to her
Oedipus
too.
wrong?
You know what I
Right.
mean? She's got to be
no,
like,
it No, she gave him away.
yeah. She's like, who's this stud coming back?
It's a
that's
lot
the-
like his dad. Okay.
It's a discount bin you fucking threw him in.
Of course she's into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
My
plus we also
God.
live in a weird, fucked up society where I would say, I don't know, what is 75, 80% of our pornography is like
Incest?
I fucked my mom. My
Yeah.
sister's stuck in the dryer. And like, what are we doing?
Why are we obsessed?
What are
I
we
know.
doing?
I know.
So yeah, of course he
Taboo.
is. Yeah, exactly.
Is it usually mom or is it usually stepmom and stepsister? I'm off porn, so I don't know what's
It's
going on.
usually
Good for you.
step, but at the same time, what's
There's
the
still,
difference?
you know, they're only. I feel like they're only saying step
Right.
to like
For
not
legal reasons.
to make you feel not as weird if it was like purely like brother fucks sister,
Right. Yeah.
You know,
That's so weird.
because then there's like the weird porns too, like the stepmoms that like fuck the young guy and they're like, you look just like your dad, and he's like, yeah. Like it's so weird, you know. There's a weird psychology to like familial sex. I mean, the Oedipus complex. Freud.
Yeah.
Freud was a wacko, but he was onto some shit.
What?
He was just the most honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
was
we all want to fuck our mom,
Yeah.
right?
Women have small brains, and we all want to fuck our mom. So, hey, was he wrong? Was he wrong?
Let's see. I think that's Seinfeld's act right now, currently.
Yeah. It really is.
Did you watch the Pop-Tart movie?
No.
I heard it sucked
Yeah,
balls.
I'm not gonna watch that shit. It's terrible.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself, because you're out there, you're dating, you're doing things.
Yeah.
Are you single?
No.
Okay.
No.
So but when you look for a partner, do you find traits that are like your father or something like that? Are you?
I
is
unfortunately
there-
do. Yeah. I unfortunately do. Because it's like, you know, you subconsciously go to what feels safe and normal.
Yeah, familiar.
You familiar, yeah. So yeah, I do find myself like in relationships with people who will like have qualities that remind me of my parents, and I'm like, okay.
Have you dated outside of those qualities, and what's the difference in those if you have?
I have. Let's see. One of my exes didn't remind me, like he didn't really like share the same qualities as any of my parents, and I found him to be completely like unrelatable, and I honestly like did not enjoy my relationship with him, which is fucked.
Because it was too.
It wasn't like we just didn't like speak the same language.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have the same sense of humor. We didn't like have the same like family things. We just weren't like really on the same page with, I don't know, just like with the way that we like existed in the world.
Yeah.
And I find that like the guys that remind me or like have certain qualities of my parents, I'm like, okay, I get this. Yeah. This makes me feel frightened and insane. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so anxious and like unsafe. This is great.
Did you have an anxious childhood?
I think so. I think, I mean, like, I had a loving childhood, but I had, like, my parents loved me very much. But my mom is kind of like an alcoholic narcissist. And even though she loved me very much, she was very, like, conditional. And if I, would tell her things that affected me or that, like, hurt me, she would be like, that's not, no, that does not, no, it doesn't. That's fine. Like, she never, like, listened.
There's no accountability.
Right, no accountability. And then she would make everything about herself. She'd be like, well, if that, you don't know how it was for me. If that makes you sad, you don't know what sad is. I know what sad is. So I grew up, like, not believing how I felt as a result of, like, a denial of feelings. Like, every time I had a feeling, it was denied. So I have that a lot now in adulthood, where I'm like, is what I feel real, or am I just, like, neurotic and, like, being, and it comes up a lot in relationships, a lot of insecurity and, like, emotional instability, because I'm like, am I safe? Am I, like, does this person really love me? Do they not? Da, 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 da. Like, am I stupid if I say this? Are they gonna get upset? Blah blah blah. And I think that's totally a result of, like, the way that I was spoken to as a child. And then having, like, a dad I love my dad, he's great, but he's like a giant baby. Like, he's a toddler man.
Yeah.
He's like a funny guy, but, like, he has no emotional depth.
Are your parents still together?
Fuck no.
Nice.
But they're friends. They're friends, but they're, like, not.
Yeah.
No. The two most, like, opposite people I'm like, how did this ever happen?
Are you the only child?
Yeah. I have half siblings. My dad has two older sons from a previous marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tricky. It's always weird when you see your parents and you're like, what were you guys ever thinking?
What were you ever?
Yeah.
And I grew up in a household where they didn't love each other.
Yeah.
They stayed married until I graduated high school, but, like, it was always very clear that they just, like, did not love each other or, like, fuck with each other.
Yeah.
They were just kind of, like, friends.
Yeah.
So it was weird. Like, now I didn't know what, like, love looked like in, like, two healthy adults.
Yeah.
Like an angry alcoholic mom and a dad who, like, had affairs and smoked weed in the backyard. And you're like, okay. And, like, nobody was, like, loving
Yeah.
to each other. Yeah.
They're, like, together out of obligation almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents, I don't get it at all.
Are they still together?
No.
Yeah.
No, they got divorced when I was 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That was that.
I don't have any memories of my dad in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't imagine them. I just imagine they would just be yelling at each other all the time.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was like in my house. It was always yelling.
Yeah.
Always.
How about you?
Well, my mother was queen of people pleasing, so she stuck with my father longer than she should have.
Yeah. Classic woman.
yep.
That's what we do.
Yep. He'll change. He'll come around. He'll be better.
Yeah.
My dad, I joke that he was on everything but the right path,
Yeah.
And their relationship was always turmoil, and I didn't know that as a kid. My mom sheltered a lot of that from me,
Which is good.
Good at the time.
Right. As a child, you shouldn't be exposed to, like, the disgusting
Right.
parts of an adult relationship.
Fucks me up now.
Yeah,
that
right.
I'm, like, unpacking things. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what's going on. This recently happened was my therapist was asking me about my anxiety. We're diving more into that about when I feel unsafe and my people pleasing and all these things. And she had brought up, she said, she's like, is there anyone you could ask to see if maybe there was some kind of, like, sexual assault or
They
molestation?
love that
when
one.
you were,
They
she's
love
like, come
going
on,
to
big
that.
money, whammy,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
whammies.
yeah.
And
He's got to have something.
he's got to have something in there.
They always
You
do
were in the Boy Scouts, right? For sure,
Yeah.
ask somebody.
Yeah.
So on a recent trip to see my aunt, who is the only person I have left in the family who's living, I was like,
I remember I asked you that once.
yeah. And I brought it up to my aunt. And I was like, hey, you're the only one I can ask. Like, was there any kind of molestation or sexual assault when I was young? And she's like, no, but there was a lot of fighting when you were young. Your mom and dad would fight all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't have any memory of that because I was so young. And,
Yeah,
you know, it
you
was
just
like
block it out.
0 to 4, 0 to 5 kind of area.
Which are very formative years too, which is
Yeah.
crazy that you don't remember them.
Don't remember any of that. But yeah, that's what my aunt brought up. And so when I brought it up to my therapist, she's like, "Oh yeah, that connects." She's like, "That would kind of do similar damage to you about
Right.
feeling unsafe and people pleasing and not wanting to upset people and always looking
Right.
for, you know, I'm reading everything
Right.
all the time."
It's crazy from 0 to 4 too. It's like those are such insignificant. The fact that we have no memory of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're so delicate.
There's a great story. My dad was babysitting me one afternoon. I say my dad was babysitting. That's my dad
Your dad was just
taking-
being a dad.
My dad was
Your dad
being
was
a dad.
being a father.
Yeah, one afternoon, my mother was working, and he was on shrooms or something. He was tripping out,
Hell yeah.
and he thought that the government was coming to get him.
Oh, okay.
He literally thought there was like army tanks and
So
shit
it did
outside.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Was he schizophrenic?
No,
Okay.
just mushrooms.
Well, it started to come through. On,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he,
Also, that doesn't sound like mushrooms.
well, maybe it's something. Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a manic episode.
Yeah.
The army's coming.
The army's coming.
That's always what people.
Acid, whatever.
Yeah. People in manic episodes always go to that. They're like, the government's
The
here.
government is outside.
Yeah.
So he had all the curtains closed, all the doors locked, and he had a gun, and he was like on guard.
My God.
And my grandmother came over to the house to come get me because I'm a fucking baby. And he wouldn't open the door more, you know, like the little door chain and stuff.
He's
He
like, I
wouldn't let
know
her
that
in.
you're part of the government.
Yeah, and he had the gun and all that stuff. And my grandma bit his hand through the little lock chain.
Is that his mom?
No,
Your mom's
my
mom?
mom's mom. Yeah,
Okay.
bit his hand until he dropped the gun, and then she fucking shouldered the door
Oh
open.
my
And
God.
went in, like pushed past him. He's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then went in, grabbed me, and got the fuck out of there.
How did she know that he was all shroomed out? Did he call her or something?
My mom called. Yeah, he was calling my mom while she was at work.
And he was like, something's
tripping,
happening.
we got to get out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So.
Thank you,
damn.
Daddy.
And here's the thing: don't remember any of that.
Don't remember any of it. That's a huge traumatic memory. Don't remember it.
Yeah.
You've never told me that story before.
Oh, really?
Never.
Oh, yeah. Grandma with the gun is a great story.
Wow.
Grandma with the gun.
Isn't that
Grandma
wild?
bit dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So my grandma would joke. Once I found out the story later in life, my grandma would joke about it all the time. When she found out I was smoking weed and like all these things, she was like,
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going to come over and bite them fingers.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
It's not
So
like
funny. That's so funny.
For sure not mushrooms, though, right?
No, that's bath salts.
that. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but
Yeah,
it
that was something.
was the 90s. And
He was on PCP. Who
It
knows?
might have been Clorox, buddy.
Yeah,
Damn, that's wild.
yeah.
yeah, it is.
So do you deal with rejection sensitivity as well? Because I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah. I think that also goes into ADHD and those kind of things
Yeah.
too. But
So
feeling
bad.
unsafe and all those things and unsure of ourselves and not
yeah.
knowing if somebody likes me or not is always a weird gauge for me.
That's horrible. I think it's
yeah.
also why I like have kind of started like looking the way that I look, because I'm always like, oh, if people don't like me, I'm gonna make myself unlikable already, so I'm safe. You know, it's all just a tactic to subconsciously. It's probably a tactic to like feel like I'm in control to an extent of like what people think about me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but I do have rejection sensitivity for sure. Which is such a crazy thing to have, like as a comic.
Yeah. yeah.
It's like the whole life, like every day is just like rejection, rejection, rejection.
yeah.
But again, it's like masochism. You just like you're obsessed with just feeling like bad about yourself.
Well, I think I think you can stop with you're obsessed with just feeling. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's like, there are definitely moments where you just feel so numb that you're like, I want to feel anything, even if it's bad. So I read bad comments or something
Right.
like that.
That's
where,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to feel.
Yeah. I just want to get worked up about something because you get addicted to the spikes of adrenaline, you know, and rejection spikes adrenaline.
You go read shitty things people say about you because you want to feel something?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think subconsciously, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You just want to know. I always look
Yeah.
for comments. I'm like, what are they saying?
Yeah, what is, yeah, I need the feedback.
Yeah.
You need the feedback.
Yeah, Lou is,
You're not as fucked up. That's so nice.
Lou's past this. He's,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm past it. I just like, I can't even.
You don't have it in you.
No.
Yeah.
yeah, Lou is, does not give a fuck about any
I
of
wish.
that shit. Like, doesn't get involved in it. Doesn't, yeah.
It's so much better.
The only reason I was off social media for like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I got back on is because I was moving out to LA and everyone's like, you have to have it. You have da 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 da. Like, if it wasn't for the pod, like, I would not have it.
Yeah. It's a
have-
nightmare.
Yeah, it's the fucking worst.
So bad. I know. Every day I think about that too. I'm like, I wish I wasn't on this shit. But then at the same time, I'm like, this is my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what would I do without it? I
Yeah.
need it. But like, yeah, if I didn't do comedy, I don't think I would be on it at all.
Yeah.
But I'll never know. I'll never know.
Oh man. I can't imagine going to seek out things.
Hell yeah. It's a job. You gotta do
How
it
often do you do it?
every day.
Every day you spend time going to see what people are saying?
Yeah, I'll go through my comments,
Yeah. Same.
go through my messages. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much time a day?
A lot.
Just in your downtime.
Yeah, in your downtime, you're just going through your message requests. I'll go on my my podcast's YouTube channel, see what people are saying in the YouTube comments. You know, if I get really bored, I'll go read go to other people's like YouTubes that I've been like podcast guests on. I'll read the comments there. I just want to see what people are saying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You
That
wouldn't
sounds
do that?
terrible.
It's terrible.
No.
I know, it's so
really?
bad.
Buddy.
Yeah. It's not good. It's
No,
not
yeah.
good.
Don't recommend it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, buddy, how could you not?
Yeah.
Dude, if we went on somebody else's podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
I've never looked back at that. Not once.
So healthy. It means
If
you have like
I-
a healthy attachment style.
Well, I'm learning. I don't. Yeah, like if I went on now, even though our show's gotten bigger, if I went on somebody else's podcast, I would not ever. I don't care what numbers it does. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so healthy. I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
Yeah, buddy, I got to see them numbers.
Gotta see the numbers. You gotta know.
gotta
I might be
see.
curious, but I don't think I would care enough to.
I can see if they love me or hate me.
Yeah, you gotta know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
So you can torture yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can apply.
If they
it
love
to
you, does it feel good?
No, and it's kind of
It
like the same
doesn't.
thing of like when when we were talking earlier about like
Mm-hmm.
you can buy all this stuff and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't. You could have
Mm-hmm.
a million people being like, "We love you so much." It doesn't change the way I feel about
It doesn't.
myself.
It's just all comes from within.
Yeah, it's just curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is it more satisfying to find negative things? You'd be like, they're right.
In a way, yeah. It like validates how you feel about yourself, which is like, I'm a piece of shit. But then you hate it. Then you get it and you're like, why is everybody so mean to me?
Yeah.
But then you're like, yeah, I need this. That's sick.
You guys are fucking sick,
I
man.
know, isn't it sick? And that's what like how many years of therapy? That's the result of so many years. I'm still that after.
Do you try not to be?
No. No, I don't. I do not actively try not to read comments.
Why?
Addicted to it. It's just like purely addicted to it.
Do you have interest in breaking that addiction?
When I get like when I get an influx of like really negative comments, I'll stop reading them because I'm like, okay, that's enough. I can only hear that like people think that I'm ugly and stupid and a drug addict so many times a day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I'll reach a point where I'm like, okay, I don't need to read this anymore.
Do you have interest in just not reading them?
Not really.
You're not even interested in it?
Not really.
Damn.
I know.
Wow.
Do you Has sobriety changed that? Have you picked it up more since being sober? Is
I
it
think
kind
I
of
picked
like
it up.
one of those things where, yeah.
I think I picked it
How
up.
long have you been sober?
4 years. Well, I stopped drinking. I got sober January 2020, and then I started like a year or two later. I think I started doing like mushrooms, and then because I was like, whatever, it's mushrooms. And I was like, well, fine, I'll just do Molly. Well, fine, I'll start doing edibles. And then after that, I was like, I'm not sober. So then I
Yeah.
restarted my time to, I think the last time I like did Molly and smoked weed was August 20th, 2022, 23. I had a year in this August, so I guess a year ago.
Okay.
Last August, whatever. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So last time with Coke and alcohol, 2020. Weed, mushrooms, Molly, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your question? Sorry about sobriety. I was trying to get context.
Do you think with the absence of all that, it has heightened your desire to go and seek out those comments? Or this new addiction has replaced this old addiction pretty much.
I think so, but I also think that I would still be doing it if I wasn't sober. It's
Yeah.
like kind of how I am. You know?
Yeah.
I would still be in it the same amount.
Did you decide to get sober, or did somebody kind of like have a come to Jesus moment with you?
It was kind of both. I just like kept doing the same thing and it just wasn't working. You know, I like kept drinking and like wanted, different results. I wanted this guy back. So I would drink and drink and drink. It didn't make anything feel better. It just, I got two DUIs. I was like, this is just not. And my friends, when I got sober, were like, oh, we didn't think you had a problem. But that's also probably because they're all also alcoholics that were drinking, and nobody wants to look at it. But I had a friend who was sober, and she was like, I went to do her podcast, and I was like hungover, and she was like, have you ever thought that about getting sober? And I was like, no. But then I was like still asking. I remember like asking people that I knew were sober. I was like, I need to do that. And once you start finding yourself being like, how do you do it? I need to do that. That's when it's like, that
Yeah.
maybe you should slow down. So it's kind of both.
Was it hard?
Yes and no. Like, it's hard kind of making the decision to stop. Well, I don't know. Like, it's hard. I guess it's hard not doing it now. When I made the decision to stop, I was like, I'm going to prove it to myself. I'm going to get sober, and that's going to be that. And it felt really good for a little while. And then you start getting like antsy and like bored, and your friends are still going out and drinking and stuff. And you're like, why am I not doing this again? So then I started going to AA, and I was like, okay, this is why I don't do this. Because if you're just like not trying to like not drink or do drugs like on your own, it's really hard. Because you forget. You're like, why do I not?
Yeah.
I can probably drink. Like, all my friends can do it. So that's when I started doing 12-step, because I was like, I need to be reminded of like why this is not a good idea for me.
Do you still go?
Yeah. A lot. I go to meetings like 5 times a week, probably 4 or 5 times a week.
Is the desire still strong, or?
No, not really at all. But I know how it is. Like, if I stop going to meetings, and I'll start getting, then I'm like out of the sober community. Once you're out of the sober community, then you're just like, you go back to kind of like being around people who are drinking all the time. And then you're like, why am I not doing it? Why? I should be able to drink, right? And especially with comedy, it's like you're out late at night and everybody's drinking. So you're like, oh, I should do this. Everybody else can.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have the desire. I'm not like, yeah, I need to go drink. Yeah. But you do get like uncomfortable. I do like, When I'm like really uncomfortable or something's like really bothering me and I don't want to feel uncomfortable, that's when I want to drink. I'm like, I don't want to be sad right now. I went through a really bad breakup a couple of months ago and I was like, I don't want to feel this. And that's when you like want to drink because you are so uncomfortable in your body. But then I was like, what's going to happen? I'm going to drink and then I'm just going to be like sad and drunk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that last part about wanting to, again, feel something, right? That's what it comes down to, is that drinking would make you, it would numb you because you don't want to feel in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a way, you like want to feel like you can just like have fun and not think about something. But like, that's not how it works, you know? At least not for me.